Star Wars Tabletop Gaming is proudly supported by Gatekeeper Games, your key to gaming unplugged, a tabletop games store offering a friendly atmosphere for people to buy and play their games in the north of Fitzroy. Welcome to episode 27 of Star Wars Tabletop Gaming. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the official terrain, or I guess objectives, bit of both, but they've called them a battlefield expansion for Star Wars Legion. The name of the expansion, the Battlefield expansion, is Priority Supplies, and it comes in a box kind of like your other expansions. Also, this article, which we've got, the article is called Fortify Your Battlefield. We also see a Barricades pack. That is the barricades that come in the core set. They've now released them as their separate little pack, which is really cool. I, for one, know that at the store, we're talking about how we're going to get our hands on more barricades, because we're not going to open, 6 core sets just for the store, but we'd like all the tables to have these kind of barricades, because they offer cover, which I think is going to be super important, and easy to track cover as well. There's not going to be umming and ahhing like there may be with other types. When they're behind the barricades, they've got the heavy cover, and it's super simple. So, we're all tossing up whether Fantasy Flight was going to release terrain, how they were going to do it, what it was going to look like, and we now have our first idea of what it will look like, because they are indeed going to do it. Official FFG terrain. So the Priority Supplies Battlefield expansion comes with the following. So you have 12 objective miniatures is what they're calling them. And in there, you'll see some crates, different kind of, there's kind of normal, your kind of boxy with that little circle cube crates. I'm not sure what they're called. And a bit of a bigger crate as well, that brown one that you've got there. You've also got 3 comm stations from what I can see there. And you've also got 4 of the, the moisture evaporators, and 2 different designs by the looks of it. One seems to have that little kind of satellite dish thingy on the top, and the other doesn't. So, very cool. So what FFG have chosen to do with their first little foray into terrain, or objectives, whatever you want to call them, is to release things that are very Star Wars specific and very small and fiddly, that are a Star Wars design that we may otherwise struggle to get. Unless, of course, you have a 3D printer, then you can do whatever you want. But, I mean, bigger terrain works much better in MDF. So while they're working with their type of plastic that they've got, these kind of small terrain designs, these small little objectives that can be very IP specific to Star Wars, I think are a really good choice to focus on. Now, what the Priority Supplies Battlefield expansion also comes with is new Battlefield cards. So we'll talk about those in a second. I just want to talk about these miniatures of these objectives. So they look fantastic, whether you want to use them for actual objectives, and we'll talk about how they link in with the Battlefield cards in a second, or you want to use them just for scatter terrain. I think they achieve both really well. It looks like they're quite tall. Those moisture evaporators are like 2 to 3 times the size of a regular miniature by the looks of it. And those comm stations are really nice. And one of those comm stations kind of attached to the side of a building or whatever is going to look awesome and add little bits to your terrain to make it more Star Warsy. So I'm super impressed with these. I think they've done a great job, and I think it's an excellent choice to go with these for their first terrain box. So I want to speak about the Battlefield cards. So obviously we have 12. Are they called Battlefield cards? Hang on. Brand new battle cards. They're called battle cards. There we go. So we have the 12 that you get in the core set, and that's kind of all we've seen so far. You don't get any more with miniatures, so we're like, what are they going to do? Are they going to release separate kind of campaign expansions with them in it? What's the deal? Are they going to release them online? But it looks like the way they're going to release future ones is in these little Battlefield expansions, which is cool. So in the box with all the objectives, the Priority Supplies, you not only get your 12 crates, moisture evaporators, comm stations, and whatever, you also get these 3 battle cards. Now, I'm pretty sure it's only 3. Obviously, they could have put in more if they wanted, but I don't mind them releasing them slowly. I think if they gave us 100 of these things straight away, there'd be a lot of confusion. People wouldn't have time to kind of master the different tactical elements of each mission. I think slow and steady is a good way to release these battle cards, and not go nuts. So the ones that we've got in here. So the first one we've got, and this is a objective card, I guess, is the Sabotage the Moisture Evaporators. So setup. Starting with the blue player, players alternate placing objective tokens on the battlefield until 4 tokens have been placed. This is obviously the moisture evaporators, but you can print this off if you really wanted and use whatever tokens you want. Each token must be placed beyond range 1 of each deployment zone and beyond range 2 of any other objective token. Place 2 wound tokens on each objective token. Each objective token cannot have more than 4 wound tokens on it. And they've created this action just for this mission. So all trooper units, so that's your core units who are troopers, your leaders, special forces units in the future, that kind of stuff. They gain the action sabotage/repair. If you are in base contact with an objective token, either remove 1 wound token from it or place 1 wound token on it. Very cool. So one side's trying to defend these moisture evaporators, the other's trying to destroy them. And pretty much is it the blue player? Which one's which? So at the end of the game, the blue player, here we go, gains 1 victory token for each wound token over 2 on each objective token. Bit wordy. The red player gains 2 victory tokens for each objective token with fewer than 2 wound tokens on it. -1 for each wound token on those objective tokens. Cool. So one side's doing one, the other side's doing the other. They get to randomly place them. I think it's a really cool mission. I think it's going to be lots of fun. It's a nice little spin on what we've seen in other traditional kind of destroying missions. And I think it'll be great. So that is the objective card. We've got a deployment card. Here we go. So advanced positions, and this is where they're kind of deploy units. How do I describe this? Opposite corners of the board. There we go. During the deploy unit step, each trooper unit gains Scout 1. And Scout 1 reads, after you deploy, you may perform a Speed 1 move and loses stationary. So essentially, trooper unit's going to be super powerful in this kind of setup. So it may be that you kind of stack your deck. So this is the one that you're hopefully going to choose, and you put a whole lot of troopers into your army. Maybe try and choose a mission where maneuvering is more important. There's all kind of tactics that you could now start to see and start to use with the different cards and what missions you choose and how that shapes your army. So there you go, very cool. And finally, the minefield condition card reads, starting with the blue player, players alternate placing condition tokens on the battlefield until 4 tokens have been placed. Each token must be placed beyond range 1 of each deployment zone and beyond range 2 of any other condition token. After a non-repulsor unit performs a move, if it is in range 1 and in line of sight of a condition token, roll a red defense dice. On a block result, the condition token detonates. On a surge result, it detonates twice before being removed. And you can see there statistics that it has. It's got 1 red and 1 black attack dice. It's got the blast and impact 1 keyword, and its surges, offensive surges, going to crits, which is just nuts. So having 4 of these around the table will obviously really close it down, create kind of corridors that you're going to want to move your troops into. Totally change up how the mission plays out. Create different kill zones. Repulsor vehicles are suddenly going to be a lot more advantageous. Maybe you want to make an army with 3 units of speeder bikes. So you push really hard to make sure this condition is chosen for when you're doing the mission setup phase. And that'd be sweet. So meanwhile, you're moving around with your speeder bikes, you cannot for these minefields, and the opponent is really limited in where they can move. So, I don't know, really cool ideas. I like that this is how they're releasing them, nice and slow. They're coming in the expansions that have the miniatures to back up the missions as well. So you don't have to get too creative. You don't have to, place or make your own evaporators for this mission to work. It would be nice to see some mines in there that you can place instead of those condition tokens. But I mean, such is life. I'm sure they'll come in the future. So that is pretty much the what's it called again? The Priority Supplies expansion. I won't talk too much about the barricades pack because it is simply the same 8 barricades that you get in your core set. But you will probably want to. Oh, it depends. Look, if you're not planning on setting up tables, this doesn't matter to you at all. If you're like me and you love terrain and you're going to have 3 to 4 tables of your very own ready to go, so you can run your own little tournaments at either local stores, hopefully, well, definitely at Gatekeepers, or out of your garage, then these are going to be super convenient and super handy for you. So that's it. I'm really excited that FFG are releasing their own terrain, official terrain. I can't wait to see where they take it, whether they keep to kind of these smaller plastic objective bits and extra scatter terrain for your games, or if they do go big and we see things like bunkers and ruined vehicles and who knows what else from them. All of that could, like a downed airspeeder, for instance, would be an awesome mission that they could release and release that at the same time. So much opportunity. But for now, this will do me plenty. I can't wait to get my hands on it. And that's all for today. So thanks for listening, and until next time, may the Force be with you.